Alright, saw this video pop up on my feed recently. It goes by the name of Dear Dad. It is, bear with me, hosted on Jacob Strom's YouTube account. So thank you, dude, for sharing this with us. Although I'm pretty sure this isn't. Is this your video? Yeah, well, you seem to be pro it. Well, maybe not so much a thank you, because I'm about to do a bit of a response to this. Oh, sounds very nice anyway. Gotta say, soundtrack's pretty good.
Dear Daddy, I just wanted to thank you for looking after me so well, even though I'm not yet born.
Well, at least it starts with a decent message. Yes, fathers do generally look after their pregnant mothers until they can't because of, unfair divorce settlements. They're unable to see their sons or daughters, so on and so forth, unfair family settlements. Let's go on.
I know you already try harder than Superman. You won't even let Mommy eat sushi. But I need to ask you a favor. Warning. It's about boys.
A warning about boys. Sorry about that. A warning about boys. Why are you having to warn them about boys? Boys exist. We are one half of the species. But now you feel you have to warn us? Okay. Let's go on.
Because, you see, I will be born a girl. Which
Fantastic.
means that by the time I'm 14, the boys in my class will have called me a whore, a bitch, a cunt, and many other things.
Yes, because boys never call other boys anything like that. You don't call them fag, asshole, wank stain, anything like that. That never happens. Also, women never call other women sluts, whores, or worse. Women never go behind your back and manipulate things from the background, sort of ruin your relationships. Sort of with manipulation, that never happens. And boys never go up to you and just punch you in the face. That never happens either. It's all just name calling one way. You don't understand how bullying works, do you? Bullying is more than just the odd name calling. It includes that, yes. The odd name calling, that's just shit talk. And guess what, love? That's going to happen whether you're a boy or a girl. And it's going to happen to you at school. It's going to happen to you at work. It's going to happen to you through your entire life. Because that's just how the world works. Now, I had a real big problem with trash talk when I was younger. I didn't know how to cope with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. I was fairly soft back then, fairly mollycoddled. But you got to get out of that. You got to get out of that mindset because it's just not healthy and it's not gonna serve you in the real world.
It's just for fun, of course.
Yes, it is just for fun. You're completely right.
Something boys do. So you won't worry.
You think fathers don't worry about their daughters when they go to school? Do you genuinely think this? Of course fathers are going to worry. They're fathers. Just the same way mothers are going to worry. Parents worry about their daughters or sons when they go to school. Even around benign shit like that. That's just how parents work. Okay?
And I understand that.
If I cough a lot during
Perhaps
this, I do
you did the
apologise.
same when you were young.
I was just saying, I apologise if I cough a lot during this video. I have a bit of a throat. I'm coming off of the tail end of a throat infection. But yeah, as this woman said, he probably did do when he was young. I really paused this at the wrong moment. He probably did because that's just how people grow up. That's just how people grow up. People trash talk other people. I trash talk everybody. They trash talk me back. Then I trash talk myself. That's just how humour works. That's how jokes work. Sometimes one person isn't in on the joke. That's when it becomes bullying, okay? But that happens both ways. That's not gendered, okay? That's not gendered. I was horrifically bullied She was probably horrifically bullied. This woman in this fictional world, she was probably horrifically bullied too. That's a bullying problem, not a sex problem. Continue.
Trying to impress some of the other boys?
Yeah, sometimes it is for social stigma and social what's the word? Social reputation. I'll say for to big it up to get a little bit of a word name for yourself. Yeah, sometimes it is, but it's not always. And women also do it to other women for the same reasons.
I'm sure you didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah, most of the time they don't.
Still, some of the people won't get the joke. And funnily enough, it isn't any of the girls.
So the guys don't get the joke, they take it seriously and they stand up and say, hey, this isn't a joke, this is a problem. Fantastic, good. I mean, it shows that men realise that it's not just a joke and, you know, decide to stand up and say that this isn't okay, you shouldn't treat people like this, which is, you know, generally a good thing. Fantastic. Awesome.
It's some of the boys.
Okay, so you just sat down beside this guy and start making out with him. Cool. I just want to point this out for the point that they're about to make. Full disclosure, yes, I did watch this video previously. But they're about to make a point here about something. Now, keep in mind, she's just sat down beside this guy in a very friendly manner. She looks almost like she's fallen over him and has started making out with this guy, okay? She obviously consents to everything that's going on so far.
So by the time I turned 16, a couple...
So this guy has now put his hand down her pants and she said no. Now, this, legally speaking, and in my opinion, morally speaking, this is when the line is drawn. If a woman or a man is coming on to you in this strong way, physically, and you reciprocate, and they stop your reciprocation for whatever reason, they grab your hand, they push you off, they say no, that's when the line is drawn. Okay? Now watch this guy's reaction.
All of the boys will have snuck their hands down my pants while I'm so...
Fantastic, he removed his hand, he wasn't forceful. Great. That's not a problem, that's just part of male sexuality. Stop trying to scare people. Fantastic. He tried to move on to the next stage. You didn't want to, and he stopped. There is no problem there. That is not an issue. That's how it's supposed to work. Okay? How else is it supposed to work? Please, you tell me. Is he supposed to just know by fucking osmosis that you didn't want to have sex? But you just wanted to make out with him and fucking cling a hold of him and shove your boobs in his chest? Like, what? Where do you draw the line? And where's that line drawn? And how are men supposed to know exactly where they stand? How are women supposed to know exactly where they stand? Come on.
so drunk I can't even stand straight.
Fantastic. You were drunk, you couldn't even stand straight, and this guy still removed his hand and said, okay, you don't want to, well, not me verbally say it, but with his body language he said, okay, you don't want to have sexual intercourse? Fine, I'll stop. Fantastic, good. This is a good guy. This is a nice guy. This is the kind of guy that deserves our respect and admiration.
And although I say no, they just laugh.
Yeah, because it's a fucking awkward situation. If you just come on to somebody, they've said no, it is a socially awkward situation. They're probably just trying to brush it off and get on with their evening. They're laughing to try and diffuse the situation because they don't know how else to diffuse it. Okay? Okay.
It's funny, right?
No, it's just awkward. And now this guy's going to be an asshole and walk away. Just FYI.
If you saw me, Daddy, you would be so ashamed. Because I'm wasted.
you're wasted and also you're by yourself. If you want to get drunk, bring a friend to keep you safe. And I would say that to men as well. Okay, dude? Guys out there and girls out there, both of you. If you decide to go and get pissed to the point of inebriation where you can't fucking think straight, walk straight, or talk straight, you need to bring a friend to keep you safe. That's not a sex thing, that's just in general. Okay? Okay.
No wonder I'm raped when I'm 21.
And if this genuinely happens to you, then honestly, you have nothing but my sincere sympathies. I hope you go to the police, fictional lady. If this is based on a real woman's story, if this is an actual woman's story, like this isn't fictional, then I hope she went to the police, and I hope they caught the guy that did it. I genuinely do. Okay? But this, again, if this is 100% fictional, this is just... it's fear-mongering. I mean, for one thing, rapes don't happen. Well, I say don't say rapes don't happen, but a vast majority of rapes don't happen in the arse end of nowhere in what would appear to be I believe it, she says it's a back of a taxi later on in the video. They largely happen at parties by associates, sometimes friend of a friend. Other than that, they will happen inside the household by family members. That's when rape happens. If you're going to scaremonger, at least be factual. Okay, this doesn't usually happen. This is not the norm. For a rape case, this would be highly abnormal.
21 and on my way home in a taxi driven by the son of a guy you went swimming with every Wednesday.
Okay, what's this guy going swimming? I believe this is the father, or soon, well, not soon to be father, the to-be father of a rapist. What's that got to do with his son? Is suddenly it's the father's fault for his son's actions? No, legally that's not how that works. But also, so what?
The guy who always told insulting jokes.
Oh, there we go, that's what. The guy told insulting jokes, therefore he raised his son to be a rapist. Okay, no. Most rapists, when it comes to their family upbringing, show signs of abuse. They're usually abused. And the funny thing is, they're usually abused by their mothers. Crazy.
But they were, of course, only jokes.
Yep, they were. They were words, they were jokes. That is actually what they were.
So you laughed?
Yeah, that's generally what you do with a joke.
Had you known that his son would end up raping me, you would have told him to get a grip.
And it would have done absolutely nothing to prevent the rape.
But how could you know? He was just
Exactly, how could he know? He's not fucking psychic.
a boy, telling weird jokes.
Yeah, he's just a boy telling jokes. Boys tend to tell jokes because they're boys. They like jokes. People like humour. They like to laugh. Boys like attention. Therefore, they tell jokes. That's why you have so many male comedians, or at least that's my theory on it. Yeah.
And in any case, it wasn't your business. You were just being nice.
Yeah, it is none of his business. I'm guessing this is meant to be the son, the rapist.
But his son, raised on these jokes?
If the father is telling those jokes to the son at an early age, and like consistently telling the son these jokes at an early age, then it's a parenting problem, not a problem with the jokes. If a parent down the road showed their children nothing but Quentin Tarantino films since the age of 5, that's not a problem with Quentin Tarantino films, that's a problem with the parenting, okay? If someone bought a Toyota and crashed it into an orphanage, is that Toyota's fault or is that the driver's fault? It's the driver's fault, okay? It's not your father's responsibility for how other people raise their kids, okay? It's not. And anyway, that's not how rapists are raised.
Becomes my business.
Yeah, it does become your business.
Then finally, I meet Mr. Perfect. And you're so happy for me, Daddy, because he really adores me. And he's smart, with a great job, and...
You just need to point out, she just said he's smart with a great job. Why does his job have anything to do with the relationship between these two? Why is she valuing him for his job? I mean, smart, I totally get, you know. You can value someone based on their intelligence, but a great job? Like, ugh. Why? Why does it matter what job he's got? What job do you have, Mrs.? I mean, if they truly is a perfect couple, which you'll see in a minute it isn't, then fantastic, but, yeah, whatever.
all through the winter he goes cross-country skiing 3 times a week, just like you. But
Oh, fantastic.
one day he stops being Mr. Perfect.
Oh, not fantastic.
And I don't know why. Wait, am I...
Maybe it's because of stress at work. Maybe it's because of stress with family. Maybe it's because of things he doesn't really want to tell you because they're personal things. Have you tried opening up to him?
Am I overreacting?
Maybe.
One thing I do know, I'm not the victim type.
Do you know that though?
I'm raised to be a strong and independent woman. But one night it's just all too much for him. With work and the in-laws and the wedding coming up.
Why are you getting married to someone who apparently isn't the perfect man anymore?
So he calls me a whore.
Okay, and at that point you have to evaluate your relationship. You have to decide, is this worth me staying with him? You know, he just called me a horribly degrading word. Am I able to forgive him for that? Simple as. Am I willing to forgive this man for saying this word? If the answer is yes, you forgive, but you do not forget. If your answer is no, you dump his ass.
Just like you called a girl in middle school a whore once.
No, it's very different. This is a personal relationship. If this guy called a random girl in middle school or high school or whatever a whore, it's very different because the relationship is different, the situation is different.
And another day, he hits me.
Okay, and at that point you dump his sorry ass. Now, here's my problem with this bit, okay? It's talking about domestic violence. But that's not how it happens. How they've portrayed it is not how it happens, okay? Let me give you the down and dirty sort of explanation to how domestic violence occurs, okay? It starts, okay, with usually the abuser fostering an admiring relationship. And what I mean by that is they will go out of their way to make sure their intended victim admires them, thinks they're just absolutely the bee's knees, his legs, and his arms. You know what I mean? They will go out of their way to appear perfect in their victim's eyes, or soon-to-be victim's eyes. Then they will start the relationship. During this relationship, they will go out of their way to isolate that person from friends and family. They will do this by going, yeah, I don't really want to go out tonight. I really want to just stay in. I don't really want you to go with this, there, and wherever. You know, I just don't like the thought of you with other people and with other guys. Yeah, I don't really want you going out wearing that because I just really don't like it. This is the sort of thing they will say. This is the sort of thing they will do. They will isolate this person from friends and family slowly but surely. And they will keep going, keep doing this, and then eventually the little fights here and then will start, but nothing too big, you know, because he's perfect, he's Mr. Perfect, he knows what's best, and that's when he hits you, and that's when she hits you. Because domestic violence, one, goes both ways, but that's how it happens. It's a process over time. It isn't all of a sudden he called me a whore and all of a sudden he hit me. And that's not how it works. There are telltale signs to domestic violence cases that need to be shown to people because this can be prevented. This video gives none of them. All it's doing is fear-mongering when it comes to this.
I mean, I'm way out of line. I can really be a bitch sometimes.
That it does get right. The self-denial, it does get right, because that does unfortunately happen. And unfortunately, a lot of women and men, when they reach the level of relationship dependency in which violence does occur, they are so dependent, or feel that they are so dependent on that person, that they can't not be with them.
But we're still the world's greatest couple, and I'm so confused because I love him and I hate him, and I'm not sure if I really did do something wrong, and then one day he almost kills me.
Unfortunately, yeah, that bit's very true when it comes to domestic violence. But once again, what have they, as an audience, what have they told you to prevent it? What have they told you to keep you safe? They've told you nothing. They've told you absolutely nothing. I don't know how this is helpful.
It all goes black. Even though I have a PhD, a fantastic job, I'm loved by my friends and family,
There's the thing, loved by my friends and family. If you're in a domestically violent relationship, you would have no contact with your friends and family. That's as simple as. You would have no contact with them. Which is why I would say to anyone listening to this who perhaps has a friend that seem to be getting more and more distant the closer they get into a specific relationship with somebody else, I would say keep an eye on them, because that could turn abusive.
well brought up, and nobody saw this coming. Dear Daddy, this is the favor I want to ask. One thing always leads to another. So please stop it before it gets the chance to begin.
Yes, because jokes turn into domestic violence. No, that's not how it works. People who commit domestic violence usually do so because they themselves were victims of domestic violence. Violence begets violence, okay? Not words. It's just, that's not how it works. That's not how these processes happen. And that's not how people end up in domestically violent relationships. It's just not factual. Okay, this is again just fear-mongering.
Don't let my brothers call girls whores.
If you're not in the relationship or have an intimate understanding of the relationship between two people, you cannot tell them what they can and cannot call each other. Okay? You just can't. Me and my girlfriend here, we call each other fucking assholes and yell abuse at each other all the time. But that's the relationship we have. We trash talk each other. Because that's the relationship we have. We find it fun. We find it... it's almost like a nice thing to do with each other. It's the idea that we can insult each other and we are so comfortable with each other that that's okay. That's an example of a relationship that you don't understand and you can't possibly understand unless you're within it. And to say to those people that you can and cannot use certain words is ridiculous. We don't know. We've never seen these two characters in this so far. We've not seen these two people until now. We don't know what their relationship is. Obviously, they're together, but we don't know what their relationship is. We don't know how they interact with each other.
Because they're not. And one...
Unless they are. Just like men aren't assholes, unless they are assholes, in which case they're assholes. Insults are insults, okay? They are just words designed to hurt people. There are insults for men, there are insults for women. You can't tell people to just not use insults. That's not how the world works. People will insult each other till the end of days. It's just how humans operate. And to change that, to try and change human nature, that's just not going to goddamn happen.
day some little boy might think it's true. Don't accept insulting jokes.
If you're going to insult each other using that kind of language, don't do it in front of little boys. Okay, PSA over, job done, we can all go home.
Jokes from weird guys by the pool, or even friends. Because behind every joke there is always some truth.
Okay, so when he called you a whore, you were a little bit of a whore. Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry, you've lost me here. This phrase doesn't fit in this context. What you're saying is there's a little bit of truth behind every joke. So these jokes are slightly true. These slightly horrible, slightly sexist, slightly racist jokes are slightly true. But, I mean, I don't even know what... Okay, you're a bit of a whore. You're a slut. You don't get paid for it. You know, you're a little bit... You're edging there. But, is that what you're saying? I don't know.
Dear Daddy, I know you will protect me from lions, tigers, guns, cars, and even sushi without even thinking about the danger to your own life.
But men are assholes, yeah?
But dear Daddy, I will be born a girl. Please do everything you can so that that won't stay the greatest danger of all.
We're not going to talk about male suicide. If we're talking about danger with regards to the different genders, we're going to talk about male suicide. I mean, that's ridiculously high. What about male deaths in the workplace? What about that? What about male homicide rates? I'm talking about victims of homicide, not people who commit homicide here. What about male victims of rape within the fucking prison system? What about male victims of assault and muggings? If we talk about the main danger, the only crime, violent crime, that predominantly victimizes women in the Western world is rape. Okay? And that is only the case if you ignore the prison system. That's the only one. The only one other than that is domestic violence. But I'm not counting that because the highest cases of domestic violence are in lesbian couples. I mean... Yeah, you can look that up and to your heart's content and find out all about this. I'm going to stop that. But what it comes down to is, it comes down to this. Just bring this up. What it comes down to is it's people. The people have obviously made that video to try and elicit emotional reactions from people, specifically fear. And these kinds of videos do more harm than good. All they do is make people scared to go out at night. What they do is they make people scared to live their lives. If you want to find out about domestic violence, about rape, about assault, about any of these things, in order to keep yourself safe, you can. You can very easily. You can go online, you can look up statistics. Hell, go on Twitter, fucking ask me. I have the knowledge. I've been talking with social workers for fucking years, child counsellors, rape counsellors. I've done the legwork, okay, because this was something I was very interested in, because it's something I wanted to be able to talk about, to help, to get rid of. You can do the research, you can find the stats, you can look into exactly what causes what, or what is more likely to cause what. Please, God, do the research. If you can't, or if you won't, go on Twitter, look me up, send me some fucking messages. My DMs are open. You can fucking message me. I will try and answer every question I get sent. If I don't know the answer, I will go and I will try and find you the answer. But these sorts of videos are not helpful. They're just there to scare you. If this is a fear you have, ignore these goddamn videos because they don't know what they're talking about. They genuinely don't. They are there to scare you. They are there to put fear into you, to make you turn to them in order to get you on their side. They're propaganda pieces, if anything. And this is a problem. This is a big problem. Because they are promoting the idea that all men are rapists, domestic violence, women-hitting assholes. And we are not. They are not. It's just not true. Ay. This is probably the longest video I've done in a long while. But yeah, if anyone finds any videos they'd like me to have a talk about, feel free to send them as well. Goodbye, fuck off, and have a good day.